Zynon Arctic. Bruv for life. Thanks for the follow. All right, let's catch YouTube up real quick. We got to catch YouTube up, chat, on what we're doing. All right, so the idea is, what is a fairly inexpensive setup we could create for use here at Norway? And this might be a terrible idea, but we spent right around 5,000. We were trying to spend less than 5K, but once you start adding the line and the lures and everything, we actually totaled $5,642. In fact, that even includes the price of a 2-day boat ticket, 2 lures, line, and a rod and a reel, which you see in front of you now. So let's just as a quick reminder before we get on the boat and head out, let's just take a look at what we purchased. We got the Beluga Narga conventional reel, which came in at 1,889 silver. And we threw it on the WTA Saltmaster Inshore, which also ran us 2,898 silver. Did I say that wrong? The Narga 30 was 1,889. The Inshore rod was 2,898. So that's most of the money we spent. The line is also very expensive. We got 30 kilo line with 27 kilo shock leader. This only has a max drag of 10 kilo, but there's a little bit of mech weight there that we're probably gonna have to take some risks with occasionally, but we'll see how it goes. We purchased 2 lures for this experiment, the Jax Bond 7005 and the infamous and very fun to use Lurker 100.7. Now, for the purposes of this video, at least for now, we are going to use fillet strips, both probably the strips and the small size fish pieces, but we're not going to do auxiliary hooks or attraction elements. We're also not going to do sea hooks with shrimp or whatever. If you do have those things unlocked, that's what this setup would really be perfect for, is just, you know, really targeting mackerel and stuff like that. Now, what we're trying to do is more, let's say someone's level 34 or whatever level, but they're coming to Norway. Is there a way that you can ease into this map for very little silver? You know, all things considered, most of the equipment that you need to use here is so expensive. So we're going to see. We're going to see what it's like. Again, maybe a terrible idea, but we thought it'd be fun. We've been talking about it here on my stream, and we decided let's just give it a try. All right, here we go. Let's head out. Where do you want to go, chat? Let's start off at 34. Let's do this. Renzi says, let's go. 41. Okay, 41 it is. I would say it's 34 and 41 are the 2 spots, right? This is going to be a lot of fun to use, but it's not going to take long for us to start running into fish that we might not be able to handle. But we'll see how it goes. 215, yeah. 215 sounds good. We'll go fish at 215. Yeah, so the total amount spent was 5,600. Although, you know, we can claim we spent less than 5,000 because if you just look at the rod and reel for the major gear parts, it's way under 5K. But we started adding the cost of the boat ticket and the line and lures and all that. So we'll see how it goes. So theoretically, we want to try to start, you know, cutting into the silver that we spent on this, and even try to get into the positive, or you know, project forward that you could get into the positive. But the thing you got to be careful of, this is such a small setup. If we lose lures and get bit off too often, then we could find ourselves stuck into a rhythm of poverty. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't remember who said that before, but that's a good thought. Do we actually get such small equipment that we trap ourselves into perpetual purchasing of replacement gear and all that? You could just use some carp braid if you didn't want to buy the expensive stuff. Yeah, I guess you could. Let's see. Like 39 kilo braid. Then have that 27. Oh, we're using 27. You actually could use, what, 30? 28.2 carp. Yeah, I mean, you could. The nice thing about this stuff, of course, is that we get to see where we are depth-wise. But yeah, you could totally do that if you already. I mean, if you're trying to make it even, I guess, spin less in the beginning. Paul says, "Good luck, dog." Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so under 5K easily. No, that's totally true. Yeah, you could get started under 5K easily, even using this setup. Yeah, that's right. No vacant rod holders. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to go well, Scotty. But yes, you can spin less than 5K. We'll see how viable of an option that seems in just a minute. All right, so we're going to try to ease into this. I think one way to ease into it will be to try to start off fishing kind of at the surface. Pretty high up in the water. Not at the surface, but like a depth of maybe, 20, 25. See if we can get some smaller fish to bite just to kind of get started. And then we'll get a little more brave from there. Even doing this is no, like, guarantee that we're not going to just hit something nasty right at the start, but... You know, I made the statement this might not be a good idea. In some ways, this is definitely not a good idea, but it's an interesting experiment. You have to be willing to, I would say, just realize if you're gonna spend this little on equipment to fish at Norway, then you're willing to just, lose a lot of leaders and stuff like that. I'm not sure what happened there. I thought we had a fish on, but then it wasn't. Yes, that's a good comparison, Zerk. This is like going to 2167 Old Berg right now with 3 starter feeder kits. Just hoping for the best. I'm actually so used to fishing at this depth with those shrimp on now that I'm not even sure what the bite rate is like without them. Let's go to 15 for a minute and try that. Is that right, Jasco? So that's the other thing we can try is switching over to a jig rig, and then you can just use like, homemade lures, right? Why is that safer? Does it tend to catch small fish? It didn't snap in half on the first fish. That's right, Zerk. I like it. You can't marine jig until 25% marine, though. Okay, but can you marine jig if you already have jigging unlocked on spin fishing? Yes. Oh, Scotty, yeah. No, we are so underpowered for Norway. If we catch anything, we're in deep trouble. So, yeah, technically, it's unlikely that someone would get to Norway and not have jigging unlocked spin fishing. So they would be able to do a jigging. I should have thought of this before. Yeah, we should probably be doing a jigging setup instead of pilker rigs. I didn't think about that, but we'll go with this for now. We can always switch over in a little bit. All right, so first fish with a pollock. Things do get a little scary at night though, right? If we're fishing on the bottom, we're gonna hit a cusk. It's not gonna be friendly. Let's take this friction brake way down. Is this the first time we've gone to the bottom? Last time we were fishing at the top, right? All right, here we are on the bottom. We are perking. All right, this is perfect. If we could just catch whatever this is size. Yeah, that's what we want. We just catch sculpin, mackerel, small saithe, that kind of stuff. It's not even a marker. You should start a weakling series where you try to hunt carp and sturgeon on low level setups. Yeah, that'd be cool. That actually is a fun idea. Yeah, that's the other way you could, that's a great point, Jasco. Jasco's making some great points about other things to consider. You wouldn't even have to get a boat ticket. You do see a lot of people catching pretty decent fish from shore using small jigging setups. So if you really want to ease into the map with some underpowered gear, that might be another consideration. You're just cutting down on the amount of silver you're spending to try to ease into it. So we're back at the, not at the surface, but we're at 15 meters right now. Trying to get a bite. So what would you use, Jasco? Like maggots or the homemade stuff? I mean, a homemade foam? Meathorn says, I was considering this setup and then I thought about it. That's funny. Now again, I think this setup would be really maggots and foam. Yeah. I think this setup would be really fun if you targeted mackerel with it. The problem is, even when you've got this tiny shrimp and stuff like that, every once in a while, just like a big angry saithe or something is going to come snatch it up. And it's going to be tough. All right, we're not getting bites at this. I guess let's go back down to the bottom. We got a bite pretty quick at the bottom, didn't we? All right. If it's still pulling, I'm going to try to lock it and see what happens. Okay, it looks like on 29 friction brake, it's not pulling. What's going to be surprising, I think, is how small this fish is. All right, 4.6 cusk. I don't know, like, I don't know how long this small lure will protect us from bigger fish. Yeah, pied him. Yeah, we'll throw this over on Netflix. I just got a spam text about Netflix. We'll throw this over on YouTube for sure. And if it does well, like I may do a multi-part series with this, just how to try to get the most out of really inexpensive equipment here at Norway. Just seems like it could be both fun and helpful. This is just our first little stab at it. Hydrate. What size lure are you using? We're using the very smallest Bond, 7005. That's awesome, Nurgle. Have we drifted? No. Huh. Is it the wind picking up a little bit, maybe? Which one are you talking about, Meathorn? The rod and reel setup? Oh, that's awesome, Scotty. 3% away from spod rods. Oh, what do you get for that? This one? Oh yeah, that's great. That's really good equipment. All right, let's do a little bit of work at 34. Let's try to get one more fish here, and then let's go do a little bit of work at 34. And then I might switch to a jig. I think that's a smarter way for someone to start now that y'all mentioned it. Uh-oh. All right, we're good. Must have been sculpin or something. Probably not a marker again. I've switched to that red and orange 300 pilker, and my bite rate at 75 has increased a lot. Oh, that's awesome, Truda. Spot will be great at amber. Absolutely. Yes, that'll help the silver grind for sure. Ooh, it's a little place. Very little. Okay. I don't know. Lately, I've just... 34 sometimes seems like it's a little stronger to me right now, but I also am not used to fishing without all the attractants and stuff these days. Like, imagine using this setup, but being able to put 2-0 hooks on this and, you know, these really small shrimp. Like, basically doing this kind of setup. Most of the fish you would catch, like at 10, 15, 20 meters, this setup is perfect for. But even with that, every once in a while, you're still going to get blown up. I do think that's the way you could probably most quickly make really good silver on this kind of setup. Much faster than what we're going to be able to do without it. But I don't know how helpful that is, because if you've already leveled up your marine fishing to a point to be able to use all of that, you know, the attractants and the real shrimp and all that, drop shots, then you've already made so much silver, you're going to get much nicer equipment than what we're using here. So you could just do it as a fun little setup, though. There's some spots where you're just catching, like we had one of those spots kind of just outside of the harbor, right, where it's like it's almost everything was sardine, sorry, mackerel. That'd just be perfect for this. Yeah, with that 50 XP, exactly. Yep. Yeah, that's one cool thing about this rod is we get 50% to XP. All right, I guess we'll try to fish at night here with this. See how it goes. I mean, so far it's pretty slow. But we're still, you know, we haven't lost anything yet either. Guess there's that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Cassavir. Like, if you're wanting to be smart with this, maybe don't fish at night. I think things get a lot worse, a lot scarier on a small setup like this at night. A lot of times it's not bad, but a lot of the smaller fish that we want to catch on a setup like this just aren't as active at night. So I think it leaves us a little bit more vulnerable to just a really big cusk or, you know, I don't know, something else. Cusk everywhere. Yeah. I hope this is a whiting or something. I don't even know. This is so small. Oh, it's a little eel pout. Wouldn't mind catching eel pout. It's interesting, we haven't had a saithe or a mackerel yet. With drop shots, I feel like I catch those just constantly. Oh my goodness, yeah, seriously. The XP? Is that right? Wow. Absolutely, Okra. Drop shot is such a game changer. It's just harder for me to come up with a justification in my mind for doing this for people that have drop shot unlocked, other than just a fun setup. But That just seems a little too on the nose. Should we switch to blue lurker or should we switch to jig? Yeah, for sure. No, it'd be fun to do drop shot with this for sure though. Yeah, and if you were going to start off with jig, then you actually spend even less because it's just the cost of the lure. I mean, the soft baits are so cheap. I mean, it's just the cost of the jig, sorry. I mean, at this point, you theoretically already have some handmade foam fish, or you already have a few maggots. You might already have a 2-aught jig hook. You don't even need to buy a new one. Oh, really? It's bugged right now? Does the jigging rig in saltwater have to be cast and retrieved? No, you can just jig it. You just actually, with the jigging rig, you can just do perking just like what we're doing right now. You can go for jig step, but I don't know that it's any better than just doing regular perking. All right, let's switch it over to jig. I think that's what we probably should have started with. If I was doing this again, I'd probably start with. Okay, so you just want to use an old like 2-aught jig and foam rubber or maggot. I would think would be the ways to start off. All right, let's just do a yellow foam rubber for now. And we'll just switch around different colors with maggots and foam. Handmade foam rubber fish. Mm. All right. Good experiment here. What size fish is this? Hey, have a great one, Scotty. Quick bite rate on this, by the way. That was nice. Ooh, okay. That gives me some encouragement. We got in a 5-kilo saithe, all right. That's good stuff. I wasn't sure, Nurgle. All right, this is probably a safe as well. Yeah, no, that seemed to be the perfect size, right? Yeah. Okay, now we're on it. Now we're on it, guys. Jigging, the jig setup was the key, and this is even cheaper. This is even cheaper. Is that right, Nurgle? Woo! Maybe for you. They are loving this jigging. They are absolutely loving it. There we go. We even got points in marine fishing. I mean, every fish is exciting. when's the first monster gonna bite us off or something? But it's kind of intense, the excitement. Ooh, our first haddock. We like the pollock even better though. Just as a reminder, this is the Beluga Narga C LW30. Sitting on top of a WTA Saltmaster Inshore 92. And we are currently running a 27 kilo shock leader, 2/0 fisheye hook, and a yellow 01 homemade fish. All right, does anybody have a all right, first time locking it, chat. Putting a lot of pressure on this little reel. Hopefully it holds together. There we go. Another haddock. Let's see. Does anybody have a favorite color maggot to use out here? Out of the colors I have, at least. We've got black, brown, yellow, light green, red, and white. So the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4. Nope, no 4. 3, the 5, the 6, and the 7. Red. White, okay. So we'll try white and red, I guess. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Zerk. The rod released with Norway. Yeah, all the picker and boat rods released with Norway. But the reel was meant for another map. Because of the way the mech kilos work, it's doable. It's doable on small fish. Small to medium. I'm not even knowing about medium. Small to medium fish, I guess, is fair. Yeah, but it's risky. Anything bigger than small, I'd say it's going to be risky at times. But I see what you're saying, yeah. This reel certainly is not meant for Norway. We're trying to figure out, is there a way to make it work? At least make a little bit of silver. If you can't afford, and have a little fun on Norway if you can't afford the big stuff. Or even the, like, medium stuff. I mean, this is like about as light as you can get for Norway. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's correct. They decided to put saltwater proof on all of the conventional reels. So it seems like there's at least room for this experiment. Yeah, for sure. HSV is much stronger than this reel. Still get in trouble with it, but this bite took a lot longer for whatever reason. All right, let's try the white and then the red maggots. Yes. Be as safe as I am. Yes. Yes, you could be. That is what that is what some people have done. Is they have decided they wanted to fish Norway. So I do like that this little foam rubber fish, it's kind of like targeting haddock and safe, you know? Like that feels right. If you find some combinations that are doing that, that kind of feels right. All right, let's try the white one first. You got into trouble a lot with it? Yeah, I mean, of course you're going to get in trouble, but you probably also made some silver and certainly had fun, right? So the idea is that at least at some point, people were catching some pretty nice, like, places, I guess, on these white maggots. See if we can get anything going. We're careful here. We're just about to drift off the bank. Might recenter after this fish. Oh, yeah, you're doing great. And you've got, again, you've got a good bit more power than what we're using here. But it's also a lot more expensive. I mean, the cost of an HSV, I should say a lot more. It's a little more expensive, right? Are we still... Yeah, we're still in a place where we don't have to move yet. We just need to watch the drifting. No, I'm wrong. Is caliber HSV 2800 silver? Is that accurate? That's actually, I mean, it's only 1,000 silver more, so it's not like it's way different. Yeah, it's not like it's way different. Oh, there's a fish on. Sorry, y'all. It's not like it's way different price. All right, we're going to try to lock this and see how it goes. This was not a too dangerous of a fish to lock. Doesn't look like. We're coming up against that ceiling though. Any bigger, we'd have to unlock it at times, I think. Any stronger. $4.7 haddock. Absolutely. Yeah. Most people at level 34 are going to have probably something stronger than an HSV, wouldn't you think? So you probably have something in your bag already that has more strength than what we're using right now at Norway. So if you're willing to take some chances, look, we've got jig step going for a minute here. If you're willing to take some chances, then you can come try some stuff out at Norway. Yeah, so there you go. 35, my best reel is HSV. So I think at least at HSV. All right, so now we'll go to perking. Perking seems to work a little better than jig step, but I like trying jig step every once in a while. Jig step, I guess, to me at least, seems to be a little better if you're actually using the fillet rig, that kind of thing. I don't know. Yeah, no, I think that's right, Dan. I'm not saying that's behind or anything. I'm just saying, according to how you've spent your silver, whether or not you had premium or not, all that, having HSVs or just above HSVs is probably where you're at when you hit the Norway map. Yeah, if you've got Tagara, that is way even more power that you have access to at a place like this. Man, that fish fell off. That's unfortunate. All right, I'm gonna switch to red maggot after this just to see if it's a little better bite rate. If it's not, maybe we'll go back to foam fish and kind of rotate through some colors there. Oh, totally agree with that. Nice safe Truda. Perfect. All right, so let's try the red maggot. So the 06. Let's just dodge the poor beagle here. Dodge the poor beagle. For as long as we can. Oh, that's awesome. Enjoy that medium boat ride. That is great. Okay. Let's see, Saith, I'm thinking. I'm thinking Saith here, but could be wrong. Saith indeed. Perfect. That is perfect. Yeah, we're still good. Black and green foam are my favorite. Okay, yeah, I'll switch in a minute. Ooh, fish, quickly. Come on, mackerel. Be a nice mackerel. Yes. That's really, secretly, that's what we want. Before I switch over, can you just, like, can you catch mackerel on these at all? Like, if we stop at, you know, 15 or something? Is this ever a thing? Yeah, I'm 34. You pulled mac on foamies. I mean, yeah, we just got a nice mac on the maggot, but it was on the drop. I was trying to see if we could intentionally go for it. Yeah, it's normally on the drop. Yeah. Ooh, nice. Yeah, I've liked using some of the other lurkers as well, Python. I've been trying. There's a couple of different ones besides the 7 I've tried recently. It's been pretty good. Alright, I'm not seeing it. Yeah, let's just drop while we're in. Since we got it in the water, let's just let it drop. We'll catch one more fish on this. The 8 and 3, yeah. Not sure what's going to be my real upgrade next. I'm using Tagara at the moment. Are you thinking spinning reel, or are you going to convert to a conventional for the sea? Because spinning, it would probably be between, what, a Vinga or a Goliath, if it's for the sea. But if you're thinking conventional, there's so many other options. Yeah, well, there's so many options then if it's conventional. All right, this has been fun. So far, so good. I mean, I know it's going to happen eventually, but... Okay, we'll do it. All right, we'll do it a couple times, but then we're going to go back to... All right, we did say we were going to use the Lurker 100. We'll try it. This is not... Don't do this at home if you're following along, but we got the lure. We acted like we were going to use it, so we better use it. So if you lock it up like this, you've got to try to train yourself, first of all, to get to that middle mouse position really quickly if it starts to go into the red. But your instinct should also be, that's a nice safe. Your instinct should also be to bring your rod tip down, because that relieves the pressure, right? So if it's starting to pop, if it's going towards popping, if you bring it down, you're immediately relieving the pressure. I don't always do it, but that's what I'm usually thinking about. Like, oh yeah, okay, I gotta bring it down if it starts to pop up. Yeah, Lurker 100, I don't know why I even bought this lure, but this is absolutely too risky if you're trying to like make silver with this beginner type setup to Norway. But I know it's good content. It's fun for people to watch. Woo, that was a bite and a half. Like that fish, it was not only on, but it was like gone. And it's just a small little thing. I don't know what it is, but it took off. Notice the bite rate on this, though. High risk, but potentially high reward, I guess. Oh, no. Thank you, Captain Furious. I appreciate it. Halibut do bite the lurker. Yeah, all kinds of scary nonsense bites this lurker, right? I mean, just look at the weeklies. The type of fish that people have stumbled into on this lurker 107. When I'm perking, I like to just sort of let it sit sometimes. If you let it sit too long, of course, perking goes away, which is okay. I mean, sometimes do that too, but it's like between the perks sometimes when something will hit it. Let's see if we can get perking going again, though. I'm not sure. There it is. Someone got a 100-kilo poor beagle on the lurker. We wouldn't even have to watch the misery of that, because I think it would just snap the leader immediately. I think it would just, we'd be like, oh, that's a big fish, it's running, and then it would just be gone. I think that's what would happen. All right, let's drop this back down to the bottom, see if we can actually get something to bite on it. Ashara, nice trophy whiting. I don't know if you'd see it for a split second or not. Would I recommend the Vingo or the Triumph? Honestly, I would have to look at the Triumph. I don't remember the Triumph specs. Is Triumph the old, like when Tunguska came out, it was the strongest conventional or something? It's the old strongest conventional, is that right? Alright, people are saying go Triumph. If you're going to do a lot of fishing at Norway, that probably makes sense. You're probably going to make a ton of silver off of it, so. Sounds like you can use it for a long time without repairing, if it's got that strong a mech. Okay, let's get one more fish on the lurker, and then we'll go back to my bad memory. Let me see what we were talking about. It was black and green foam. Okay. Absolutely, Casimir. It's a great lure. It's been great since this map came out, really. It just might be a little too great for this setup. Just gotta watch that bounce. Nope. That's a nice fish for our little setup, guys. That is a nice fish. That is a fun fight, by the way. $13-kilo Atlantic cod. Woo! Stressful, but so fun. All right, let's try the green one first. That was so fun, y'all. That's one big cod. I don't know. It's blanked out for me. Sorry. Oh, man. That was good times. That was good times. Yeah, it's all about that mech weight, isn't it? If we had to just be reliant on the max drag of the Narga, you know, there's just going to be more stuff that is going to give us trouble. But the fact that we can tap into that mech weight of the conventional reel, it gives us the opportunity to get a few more fish in that we might otherwise not be able to. Just got to be so careful, kind of ease into it. You're tempted to try jigging 200 meters for football fish? Oh, nice. Are they active there? I don't think I've ever caught a football fish. Good training? Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is basically what fishing for big fish are like. It's just you've got much bigger equipment and the big fish are much bigger. But this is a lot of these same techniques. You're right. This is what you do here at Norway in a lot of ways. I would get Ocean Queen. I mean, I guess if you decide from the start, I just think Ocean Queen's a better overall choice. Right? I don't have a sensei, so I don't remember all the specs, the reasons, but I think the load capacity is perfect. I guess if you knew from the start, if it's got a good load capacity and the test is okay, if you knew from the start you wanted to rely upon that extra 5% bonus, then maybe you do, but I don't know. That Ocean Queen just really served me well, so I don't know. It's hard to say. Something to think about. A Caliber HSV is 31 mech. Even though it's not C, some people may already have it. So you could start with only the rod and beat up HSV. Oh, yeah, for sure, Blunty. I think some people are doing that. I think there's at least a couple folks, maybe people in chat right now, that was their start at the sea, was just using one of their HSVs, either like it is or upgrading it a couple kilos for a little more power. And that's how they got started at Norway. It's a great point. If you're dealing with some hard-headed moron like me and insist they want to fish Norway when they are at level 22, this setup works. Nurgle, did you start at level 22? Or are you level 22 now? Is that what you're saying? So you just like unlocked Norway on the cheap without any extra gear. So 32 gold. I don't know how much money that is, but whatever. You unlocked it. you got cheap setup like this and you just started fishing. You were 21. That's awesome. Did you take the 3 trips first? Surely you did, right? Because that would have given you some silver. That actually probably gives you enough silver to buy this setup. You could pretty much afford this setup by taking your 3 trips if you pay for them with gold. Yeah, Dan saying I use my upgraded HSV at sea. Caught some very nice fish and rares and trophies. That's awesome. You're shy of 29 at the moment. Okay, so what Nurgle's saying, 21, took 3 trips, got to 22, paid for the trips with gold, which is very cheap. Use that silver to buy an inexpensive setup just like this one, and now has made it to level 29. Have you purchased your next setup, or are you still using just this setup? And also, how much have you been able to save with this setup? Or have you been able to save up some silver? I mean, if you've gotten that many levels, you've caught a ton of fish. Ooh, an eel pout. All right, so we've been fishing just under an hour. That's good. We'll wrap this up like right at an hour for this episode. The gold sale was going on when you got the map. That's great. Yeah. That's awesome. Renzi's asking Dan, does it damage quickly? Oh, upgraded HSV. When does the gold sale happen? Pretty regularly. I shouldn't say regularly. I would say on average at least, 4 times a year, guys? 3-4 times a year? Certain holidays and stuff like that. Gotcha, Nurgle. Gotcha. Makes sense. Make is asking, what setup should I get for C? I'm level 25. There's a lot of options. We've been talking about that a lot for the past hour and a half to 2 hours, so you may want to go back and watch earlier parts of this this stream, but there are certainly a lot of options. And we've been trying to explore, by the way, catch a safe like that, definitely one that you want to turn into either small fillets or fillet strips. There's so much choice, nobody knows what they should get for C. Yeah, that's exactly right, Renzi. It's overwhelming, and it's a lot of silver. Even the cheap stuff is a lot of silver. So you don't want to make a mistake, right? But the truth is, not sure there's just a right answer. There's just a lot of options. Just trying to figure out what you're most comfortable with. Amber's going nuts here. Can't break all, but yeah, it does take damage. I've earned double what repair is easily. Oh, that's good. Okay. A cheap setup isn't exactly cheap. That's right. All right, let's switch to the black. I meant to switch to black handmade a while ago, but we'll at least catch one fish on the black handmade as well. This green's been doing great, by the way. I really like how the green's doing. I think the maggots before it were also doing well. The red 05 bond that we used in the beginning was okay. Obviously the lurker 107 was pretty powerful, but more living on the edge with this kind of setup. Yeah. So one option you have if you have 3 calibers is just to convert one of your calibers and use it to kind of get started and see how things feel. But I'm not saying that's the right answer. I mean, there's so many options. Have you done the trips already to kind of see how things work? I mean, I do think experiencing it a little bit yourself does at least give you a little bit of confidence to know, like, okay, so what's this going to be like? They give you some pretty nice equipment to test on the trip. So you get a sense of what it's like to fish with, you know, like mid-tier equipment. And so then you can kind of decide, like, is that what I want to aim for? Do I want to go with low-tier equipment? Do I want to save forever and try to get high-tier equipment? Just a lot to consider. Oh, that's how you got your calibers. Awesome. That's great. Well, I mean, I'll say this. If you use a caliber here, which caliber is not saltwater protected, so whether you upgrade it or not, I mean, you can definitely put some better grease on there, and you should, but whether you upgrade it or not, you're going to have to pay for repairs pretty often. But like Dan was saying, you're going to make a lot of silver even after paying for repairs. But a caliber HSV is going to give you a much stronger setup than what you see me using right now, for what that's worth. I shouldn't say much stronger, a stronger setup. And that is to say, you can catch some really nice fish. There also are some fish here that you will not be able to catch on a caliber HSV. Another nice haddock. All right, awesome. Wow, this has been a good experiment. And even though I just had this terrible feeling that we were going to do all this and things were going to be like just a disaster, they've actually gone relatively well. Thank y'all for all of the great suggestions and stuff. We ended up with 12.9 cod. Everything else was fairly safe. We tried out some different lures and tried to keep things very inexpensive as we could, but this has been good. Let me respawn back to camp real quick. So yeah, we'll get the silver amount we made in just a second. But if you're watching this on YouTube later, yeah, let me know what you think about this, and let me know if you would like to see more content similar to this, because I had fun doing this, so we could do even more trips with this same gear, just to kind of stretch it a little bit and see how things go. This has been obviously 1 hour of fishing is pretty small. Small amount of information, but so almost 300 silver, 292 silver. Not the best Norway money, but it was 45 minutes. Is that right? No, it was more like an hour, right? Yeah, 59 minutes. But we're still figuring things out. I think we can probably do a little better than that, but still pretty good. Still pretty good for our first time, and that's without even considering cafe orders, which I don't think we got any, which is a little unlucky. But man, if you could go, I mean, we should just, on our, outside of this experiment, we should go fish for these small fish real quick. Look at all these cafe orders. That's great. Okay, so yeah, so let me know if you've enjoyed this, and if you want to see more, and we'll see what we can do.